Hello, everyone. I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network, and I'm going to talk about the season 5 premiere of Fear of the Walking Dead. And we're doing this live. This is not typically when we do our Walking Dead reviews. We're typically pretty good about doing them live right after the airing on Sunday night. But I've been working some Sunday nights, so we're not going to be able to do probably most of them live. So I'm kind of doing this one. I know a lot of people have probably already had your review fix and things like that, but I still want to do it. Still want to do it. For The Walking Dead, I just want to go ahead and say spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead for the season 5 premiere titled Here to Help. But I probably won't spoil it that bad just by default because I don't really know a whole hell of a lot of what's going on. Fear the Walking Dead, I watched religiously through the first season. Watched the second season with a little less enthusiasm, I guess. The second season to me wasn't as good because for a lot of, like, Fear the Walking Dead was marketed as like the origin story, you know, the collapse of society and all that good stuff. Well, in season 1, about the time things started getting good and society really started to collapse, the military began to get overrun and all that other good stuff, they decided to move the entire show away from the city and onto a boat. And then they started just, like in season 2, they started hitting these little isolated ports, you know, docks, beach houses, things like that. Not really anywhere near any good amount of civilization. And so the meat and potatoes part of Fear the Walking Dead, the collapse of society. I don't know if it was due to budget issues or what, but the biggest part of what I was looking forward to happened off camera during season 2. And I was really disappointed in that. And so the fact that we got to miss most of the collapse of society in season 2, coupled with the fact that a lot of the stuff they were focusing on, I didn't really find all that interesting anyway, led me to pretty much abandon season 3. I abandoned season 3, didn't watch any of season 4, even though I did kind of keep up with it. It's hard to just watch reviews and really know what's going on with a show. So major spoilers ahead for this. I do know that last season, I believe it was last season, or it may have been the season before, I don't even know, Nick died. He was like the one that they billed as the main character from the very beginning of the show. He was like, to kind of a lesser extent, but still, in a way, he was the Rick Grimes of Fear the Walking Dead. He had a really good arc. He was like a kind of a recovering drug addict. He had all kinds of stuff. He was the one who discovered, hey, covering myself in zombie blood and guts will shield me from the zombies. And, you know, just, there was a lot of good stuff going on with his story. And then from what I understand, he was shot and killed, like, either last season or the season before. Like, I can't even tell you when it happened, but I know it happened. Jumping into this episode, the premiere of season 5 after 2 seasons away, the show is a completely different beast than what it was. I don't know 3/4 of the characters. The show looks like it is pretty much being run with Morgan from the original Walking Dead series as the main character. Like, he's pretty much taken the lead of this show. We've kind of gotten some, teasings and stuff in some of the commercials that Dwight is going to be showing up. And I don't know how they're going to explain that. But the reason I started watching Fear the Walking Dead is because a lot of people are talking about this is going to be kind of the lead up to the Rick Grimes movies. They're going to be doing a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of lead up, just kind of teasing the Rick Grimes stuff. And this is going to kind of unofficially lead into the Rick Grimes movies. Like these scenes are, in these episodes. So, first thing I noticed, there was like this thing where there was a plane crash. It showed a plane crashing during some of the teasers for this season, and immediately people started kind of having the ideas of, oh, this is going to be a plane crash. This is going to be one of the planes that's owned by the community that, Rick was sent to because they had helicopters and everything. No, come to find out, we find out very early in this episode that this plane is actually with Morgan and several of the other people. Look, I'll go ahead and tell you, I know Morgan, and I think one of the women with Morgan is from, like, the first couple of seasons. But I don't really recognize anybody because everything's changed so much. I don't know who any of the people are that are in that freaking plane. They happen upon these two kids who kind of help them out. One of the women, who I think is one of the main characters from the beginning, she ends up getting hurt really bad. A piece of the plane goes through her shoulder, and they spend most of the episode trying to help her. They're trying to find this guy named Logan, and basically what you're led to believe in, from the previous season and what they're doing is Morgan and his crew now are making it a point to go around to different places and help people. Well, years and years of the apocalypse have made people very skeptical to help. They automatically think you're going to try to hurt them, you're going to try to steal from them, things like that. But Morgan and them are like, oh no, we're good people, we're just trying to spread goodwill and happiness, and trying to make gestures of goodness to different people, and just trying to help. And people don't want that. People don't trust in the zombie apocalypse. And so these kids automatically, meet, Morgan and his crew with very high levels of skepticism. They end up landing in a place that has a lot of radiation signs, and it's kind of been teased. We haven't seen anything yet, including this episode, but they're kind of talking about nuclear walkers. Now, how that, I don't know, if maybe, nuclear, like radiation is going to make the walkers different. Maybe it'll make them smarter. Maybe it'll make them dangerous because of the radiation. Like maybe you'll end up getting sick from being around them without having to really, touch them or anything like that. I'm not really sure, but there's these high radiation things all over the place. One of the characters in the show is running around. She's like a journalist, I guess, and she's running around with a video camera, I guess, documenting everything. And I'm pretty sure that's going to come into play eventually, unless they just abandon the storyline. So this guy Logan, which, here's the thing, the biggest thing that I'm excited about in this show now is the character Logan, who I guess is being billed as the top villain of Fear the Walking Dead now. He basically screws the group over, takes a lot of their stuff, and all this. The villain Logan is played by Matt Frewer, the freaking dude who played Max Headroom in the old '80s bits, and he also played Russell Trash on the Generation X made-for-TV movie back in the mid-90s, which I was like super excited about. And I know a lot of people don't recognize him from that movie. A lot of people don't even recognize that movie. But he was actually a pretty decent villain, and probably my favorite made-for-TV movie of all time. And also he played Job in the sequel to The Lawnmower Man. The Lawnmower Man 2, Job's War. He was Job in the sequel to that movie. But yeah, I was super excited to see him as a villain. Like, he's one of my favorite actors. Like, probably one of my top 10 favorite. And to see him in this was really, really cool. I think he's going to bring a lot of... he has that... just that vibe about him. And I think that's really going to work for the show. Like, he has a certain demeanor about him, and it's really hard to explain, but he's kind of wound up. He almost is like he was Jim Carrey before Jim Carrey came out. That's the easiest way I know how to explain his acting, his ability, his charisma. That was the word I was looking for. But yeah, this dude, he was. I mean, maybe him being a little bit older now, maybe he doesn't quite have that, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, he ends up screwing the group over, taking a lot of their stuff. The episode was kind of hard to follow at times because I didn't really know who, like, if you were jumping in because of the Rick Grimes stuff, because they're kind of marketing this as, oh, we're going to get some little tidbits about the Rick Grimes movies and stuff. If you're jumping in after a couple of seasons gone like I am, you really have no clue what the hell is going on. But this was a good episode regardless, and I'm going to be tuning in next week. Going to make it a habit to review these episodes. There's kind of the whole nuclear thing, and the woman who's the journalist, she takes off at the end of the episode, and they have this walker that they had kind of impaled on this like metal rod. She takes off by herself to go look back at that thing, and she finds all these important look like maybe government cards, these clear cards. I was thinking that maybe they were those cards that people use. Like if they work in radiology or something, they have these cards that shows the level of radiation that they've been exposed to, and it's that changes color and stuff. I was thinking that might be the case, like what they have there, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to say anything because all these cards, they have something different on them. Some of the more eagle-eyed fans have pointed out that some of the symbolism that Jadis had in the junkyard and, for this community that Rick was taken to, that this same symbol, which I thought was a biohazard symbol, but I guess not, is on some of these cards and some of this stuff that this woman has found on this walker. So if you could hear, we've got 2 kittens that we're fostering right now for the local shelter, and they are in a cage right now and not happy at all. But anyway, that's what the noise is. But I'm really wondering about where this is going to lead. We don't have any, teasing or anything about the nuclear walkers right now. So, and also from what I'm understanding, there's a good possibility that we will see Dwight next episode. So I think next episode's where everything's really going to pick up. They just kind of threw a lot of teasers in this and was like, hey, we're going to make you wonder. And so hopefully next week we'll get a lot more info. But anyway, on this episode, out of 10, I'm going to give this episode about a 7. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't a horrible episode. It was just kind of okay. Probably not really worth a rewatch. It kind of had a slow middle, but the addition of Matt Frewer, who I'm very much a fan of, and the fact that Morgan is kind of taking over the show right now, redeeming qualities, and all this show did was make me want to tune in next week to see if any of these questions are going to be answered. But anyway, y'all have a good rest of the day. I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network, and we'll see you next week.